had an opportunity this afternoon to take a tour and to see some of the men and women who work here in our correctional system and to understand the job and the role that they play, but also look at some unique programs in Montgomery County in order to assist those who need help in reentry. We're delighted to have the Attorney General and the Secretary of Labor both with us. We're going to now hear a few words from the Attorney General on his assessment of what he's seen so far. Attorney General?
All right. Well, good afternoon to all of you. I want to thank Tom Perez for telling me about this place and then kind of making sure that this happened. It's great to be here with the county executive. He's an old friend and a great leader. Warden, just a great job here. We've just had the opportunity to really, I think, have a chance to kind of see what this facility is all about. A lot of dedicated public servants who staff this facility, and actually had a chance to talk to some of the inmates and see how they are benefiting from the great work that's being done here. I think what you're seeing here at the Montgomery County Department of Corrections is a national leader in looking at the problems that confront our nation and that have bedeviled our nation, I think, for so long, coming up with really new approaches, new ways of doing things. We are proud to have supported through the Justice Department's Second Chance Grant a lot of the work that is being done here. Carol Mason, who's the Assistant Attorney General for our Office of Justice Programs, the most popular person in the Justice Department. She's the one who gives out all the money. Everybody loves Carol, but her organization has helped a great deal in this by trying to figure out ways in which we can break cycles of crime and drug abuse, improve public safety. I think people have to understand that. By doing the things that are being done up here, which we hope to replicate around the country, you are enhancing public safety. It's not only a question of saving money. All the studies have shown that you cut down on recidivism, you have people who come out of the system who are ready to work, and that means that people are safer, and ultimately you save money as well. You have the ability to change the lives of people who are in these places. I am the chair of the Federal Interagency Reentry Council, which Tom is a member of, and it is cabinet-level people who get together to talk about these issues. This administration is committed to really making a difference and dealing with this whole question of reentry in different ways. I think for too long we've thought that we can take people out of negative situations with all kinds of deficits, warehouse them, and then put them right back in the places that they came from and somehow expect a different result. What we have said is that we're going to try to prevent people from becoming involved in the system, rehabilitate them once they are in the system, but then also prepare them for life outside the system. And we think in that way we can have better results. As was indicated, 92-95% of all the people who are incarcerated are at some point going to be getting out of these facilities, and so it makes absolute sense if we want to change this problem to deal with them while they are in custody, but then, as I said, also prepare them for life afterwards. We are launching, please report, we're going to be launching a new partnership to take this work to a new level. The Department of Justice and Labor partnered with the Annie E. Casey Foundation and the Council on State Governments to issue what we call a new call for applications to assist pilot sites with reentry and employment issues. Selected jurisdictions will be receiving 3 years of intensive technical assistance to support integrated reentry strategies that bring together workforce development and corrections partners. And this is going to help to connect returning individuals with the transitional job training and employment readiness services that they need. And in September, the Justice Department will announce a new round of Second Chance Awards to build on this effort. Again, supporting jurisdictions around the country that aim to replicate some of the great work that we see here underway in Montgomery County. So I want to thank everybody who has been so gracious to us in hosting us today. It's really been everything that Tom said it was going to be. I mean, as long as I have known him when he was in the Justice Department in the Civil Rights Division, as Secretary of Labor, he has talked about this place and trying to get me up here so that we could look at it, get a sense of what's going on here, and as I said, replicate it to the extent that we can in other parts of the country to make a meaningful difference in the lives, not only of the people who are here, but for our fellow citizens in this country as well. So thanks very much.
Let me introduce our Secretary of Labor, Tom Perez, who not only now serves as the U.S. Secretary of Labor, but has also had firsthand dealings here in Montgomery County and serving in our community, and also as a council member. So the problems and the situation that we see here in Montgomery County at this facility, he knows firsthand, and we're delighted that he's back and delighted to bring at least some focus and attention to a challenge that we're trying to meet in Montgomery County. Tom Perez.
Thank you, Ike, and thank you, Mr. Attorney General, for coming here. And Warden Green is not only a local leader, but a national leader, and I'm honored to be here with him. Innovation abounds in cities and counties and states across this country in the area of making sure that we're keeping our community safer. And innovation abounds right here in Montgomery County. As a former prosecutor, I firmly believe that one of the most effective strategies to keep our community safe and to control our crime is to make sure when people get out of jail, they have a job, and they have a career path, and they have an opportunity to make sure that they never come back. And this formula has been followed with great success here in Montgomery County. And I also believe in second chances, and I also believe that everybody here, there's no such thing as a spare American. And when you put all these things to work, and when you factor in all the needs that employers have to hire new people, you have a situation here in Montgomery County where you have an American Job Center in the jail. We have 2,700 American Job Centers across the country, but I need one hand, or perhaps just my thumbs, to count the number of American Job Centers that are here in jails. It is a remarkable investment. And it is an investment that is a win-win-win-win situation. It is a win for inmates because they are coming out of jail with greater skills and greater motivation, both hard skills and those essential life skills that have all too frequently not been in sufficient abundance for them. It is a win for employers who are looking for skilled tradespeople. I just spoke to a person who's been in the construction trade for a while. There's a bright future in construction in this area and around this country, and that person is going to have a brighter future as a result of going through this one-stop center. It is a win for the employees here at the correctional facility because their job is safer when you have people who are occupied in productive ways. I spoke to an inmate here today who was in segregation because he had behaviors that were not productive behaviors. And when he was given the opportunity to get the skills to succeed, the light bulb went off for him. And now he has transformed into a model prisoner. So when you put this program in place, this investment in place, you are helping workers to have a safer work environment. And finally, this is a win for the community because the community is spending its dollars in smart ways so that they get that return in the form of safer communities, in the form of employers who can have their workforce needs met by workers here. And so this is win-win-win-win for so many people. And that is why working with Attorney General Holder, the Department of Labor, the Department of Justice, who are two of the biggest grant makers in the federal government in the area of reentry and crime prevention, are working together to take these models to scale. So later this fall, we will be announcing a grant competition to replicate this model here in Montgomery County in 10 sites across the country. Because the reality is, we have 650,000 people getting released from state and federal prisons each year. At the same time, we have literally millions of people coming in and out of county and city jails. And so, as we scale this model in cities and counties across the country and replicate the success that Warden Green has described, and frankly, the inmates have described through what they have told us about their actions and their goals. That is what effective crime prevention is about. That is what effective crime control is about. You know, the old model was, the only tool in the toolbox was a hammer. Well, when the only tool in the toolbox is a hammer, everything sooner or later starts looking like a nail. Our toolbox has many tools. When people need to be incarcerated, they get incarcerated. But when people have opportunities like they have here in the Montgomery County Jail, we can prevent a lot of crime from occurring down the road. And that's why we're here today, to take this remarkable model and the leadership at county government, replicate it in cities and counties across America, debunk the myths. Some people say this can't be done because you're not allowed to have internet in the jails. Warden Green's figured that one out. This can't be done because employers aren't going to want to come and hire from the jails. Warden Green has figured that one out. We have demystified the process here in Montgomery County so that we can scale it across America. And that is why the Obama administration is so excited to support this, and Attorney General and I are so excited to be here today. So thanks for your leadership, Warden. Thanks for your leadership, Mr. County Executive. This is a great program, and we look forward to taking any questions that folks might have.
Thank you. Attorney General, it seems pretty unlikely that Congress is going to act this year to pass a Smarter Sentencing Act. What is next for you? What can you do from an executive level to fill some of the goals of your Smart on Crime initiative?
Well, we have in existence grant-making authority that we certainly will exercise. There's the Federal Interagency Reentry Council that has already been meeting. And we've taken executive actions about how we are using the discretion that we have within the federal system to make really fundamental changes about who gets charged, how long they should serve in jail, and then what it is we are doing through our Bureau of Prisons. That we're using, again, executive action about how we are supporting reentry efforts in our own Bureau of Prisons. Now, I think that, I gave a speech in San Francisco last year in August where we outlined the whole Smart on Crime initiative, and wasn't quite sure how people were going to react to that. But I got to tell you that we have seen people from the left of the Democratic Party, the right of the Republican Party come together and say that this is something that needs to happen. And so you might be right that it might not happen during this Congress, but I'm actually pretty confident that next year, when people as fundamentally different politically as Rand Paul and Dick Durbin, can come together to talk about these kinds of things and agree on certain approaches, that we're going to be successful in the next Congress in funding and institutionalizing what we want to do on a grander scale.
Mr. Attorney General, related to that, how do you make sure that attorneys general after you and administrations after you keep in place the changes to the criminal justice system that you're trying to bring about?
Well, see, I think that's why that question is so important and why congressional action is actually needed. There are changes that we need to make to our laws. I can certainly use executive action to change internal Justice Department regulations and policies, but this is something that I think needs to be institutionalized, especially when one looks at the evidence-based approach that we've used in the Obama administration and that the states have used. It shows that these kinds of approaches work. Keep people safe, reduce costs. And so it's going to be up to Congress working with us to try to come up with ways in which we make sure that this is something that, again, we'll try different approaches, but those that work, we need the support of Congress to ensure that they will last beyond just this administration.
One more question.
Sir, do you have any reaction to the ruling over the weekend that the ban on weapons, guns in the District of Columbia is unconstitutional?
Well, I understand the Attorney General in the District of Columbia has indicated they're going to be appealing that decision, and it seems to me that that decision to appeal it is appropriate given the unique nature of Washington, D.C., the huge numbers of tourists that we have, the special places that have to be protected, and just when you think about the executive protection that goes on in Washington, D.C., the number of legislators, people in the executive branch, obviously we respect the decision that the court has made, but I think that upon further review, my expectation will be that opinion is going to be reversed.
Mr. Attorney
And if I
General,
can
speaking of
follow up,
rulings, can I
sir?
ask about the Virginia, the Fourth Circuit just ruled today that a state ban on same-sex marriage is unconstitutional. Wondering if you have a response to that. And you've spoken a little bit about if this issue ever reaches the Supreme Court, how the Justice Department would respond. Do you want the Supreme Court to actually take this issue up?
Well, the Supreme Court will, I just handle the Justice Department. The Supreme Court will decide what it's going to take up. But what I've said is that we will file at the appropriate time papers that are consistent with the position that we have taken. And I've also said, to be frank, that I'm not certain that any of these state measures will survive the heightened scrutiny that they will be subjected to under existing Supreme Court law.
Thank you,
Sir?
everybody.